All right, let's jump into the Minnesota Wild. Welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. We are going over the Minnesota Wild today, and I actually just got their hat. My mom got it for me for my birthday, so I'm pretty excited about it. So just got it like a week ago, so pretty cool and it fits great. American Needle if you need one. So, anyways, I want to go over the Minnesota Wild because to me this is a team that I usually there's like, hey, there's Stanley Cup, there's Stanley Cup contender. There's rebuilding team. Those are the far ends, right? You're tear down and you're fully built up, right? Then there's like playoff teams that are kind of like fringe, right? And then there's like people who are like coming out of the rebuild, right? So you have like Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, right? And in this category you have like Islanders are good, but they're not like fully good. Like Penguins, Washington, like those Nashville, and so where they're kind of in that weird limbo. And Minnesota Wild to me feels like, and again, if you're a Wild fan, I'm sorry, but to Minnesota Wild has always been because of their lack of playoff success, have always been just that team that kind of is a fringe playoff team. They've never been that serious, and until they got Kaprizov, to me, I just didn't take them seriously enough. But I'm super impressed with them, and I'm going to go over right now why I'm super impressed with them. So let's jump over to the cap friendly page. They have 1.6 million in cap space, so it's a pretty big deal. Well, it's not. I mean, they have some money, but they didn't. To me, they didn't make a lot of huge moves. And I'm gonna go over why some of these moves are interesting. So just to kind of give you an idea, because they made the playoffs last year. They were third in their division. They weren't even a wild card. They were third in the division versus Dallas. They lost 4-2 in the playoffs. Again, I just don't know what to make of them. They picked up Nyquist, right? Ryan Reeves, they let him walk. They picked up Sundqvist, let him walk. Sam Steele, Matt Dumma, they let him walk. They didn't try and trade him. Klingberg as well. A lot of these are like deadline acquisitions. They did sign Gus Sinback, who had a monster year, right? And so I mean they traded for Pat Maroon, I guess. So there's just some interesting like moves that they made, and that's where I don't really understand it because to me that they're acting like they do some moves like a rebuilding team, but then they also are trying to make the playoffs, right? So I'm gonna go over real quick. I just want to show you guys their trade history because look at this. In 2023, they were used as a third party utilizing their cap space, right? So they retained half on O'Reilly and they got a fourth round pick. They retained half on Orlov and they got a fifth round pick. So they're utilizing their cap space. Smart, by the way. Totally agree with it. Totally smart. But for a playoff team, why aren't you using this cap space to try and acquire players if you're trying to stay in the playoffs? Because they are. Look at they traded for Marcus Johansson, right? Third round pick. They traded for Gus Nyquist. Took a fifth round pick, right? So they did trade away Greenway. I think that he wasn't working out with them as well. So I think that was smart. I think hopefully he has a bounce back with the Buffalo Sabres. That was a good pickup, by the way, a second and a fifth round pick. They acquired Sundqvist. They acquired Klingberg. It didn't cost that much for Klingberg, so I guess. But they also picked up Pat Maroon. Okay, you allowed the Lightning to get a cap dump, so it's only 800,000. But what are you gonna do? Again, I don't know what they're doing. The direction is the most frustrating part because I'm like, you were third in your division. Like you want to be a playoff team. You sign these big contracts like Kaprizov, and of course you're going to extend Gustafson, but you're also making acquisitions, trying to make the playoffs, trying to stay in the playoffs. But you're not tanking. You're like to me, you're doing you utilize your cap space to pick up picks is a rebuilding thing. Picking up players to try and stay in the playoffs is a contender way. They're doing both, and it's blows my mind. And mind you, they're able to retain salary. And I don't know if you've heard of anything about these buyouts that they did. Crazy, by the way. They have $14 million in buyouts. They bought out Zach Parise and Ryan Suter. I get it, trying to make a statement, but $7.3 million. I mean, $14.7 million in dead, like just gone. The 14. That is, you could sign Connor McDavid and bring it if the Edmonton trade. You could sign Austin Matthews right now and still sign a league min guy. Like it's just crazy to me that like you have all this dead cap space. You're utilizing more cap space to try and like bring in picks. And again, I don't know the direction, and that's where I'm confused. And they didn't make any big pickups. I don't know if they're trying to rebuild or not. I think that they should. I don't know at this point, should they? Because look, you have Kaprizov at $9 million. Are we gonna rebuild then? What are you gonna do? But the nice thing is that when Kaprizov right at 2024, So you go down to I'm going to the buyouts because it's a big determining factor for what the direction they need to go. Once after the 2024-2025 season, it drops down to 830, which is way more manageable, right? And so these next 2 years, this season, next season, are going to be a little bit tougher. But I think at 2025, 2026, they're going to be able to pop off, right? So look at that. You have Gustafsson signed till that year afterwards, which this 2025, 2026 season is going to be huge. So that's why you have Gustafsson that goes up to and say, hey, let's play this year and show up, and then we can see what the next stage of the franchise looks like, right? And then you have right here, same with Kaprizov. Hey, 2025, 2026, play, and then we'll decide the next year, right? I mean, there's some of these guys I'm not gonna stay around. I think you're gonna lose Marcus Foligno. Potentially, he might sign a cheaper deal. Matt Zuccarello is not gonna be $6 million. That'll free up a lot of cap space as well. Ryan Hartman. I mean, they'll probably end up resigning him. Brandon Duhaime. I think again, some of these guys are going to be gone, but I just don't know your direction. And get some big contracts here. They're a little older, right? This guy's going to be here. Jonas Brodin's going to be here until he's 35. Spurgeon, he's your crap down. I give you. He's going to be there until he's 37. Are you trying to get young? Are you trying to get old? I mean, I just don't really understand. But let's go over their lines real quick just to kind of give you an idea of what my thoughts are. Hartman really popped off with Kaprizov and Matt Zuccarello. I like those. I like this line right here. Matt Boldy, great. Joel Eriksson, awesome. Marcus Johansson, good pickup. Now you're getting down to this bottom, and it's not super impressive, right? Maybe Marco Rossi needs to start to develop. I don't think they're going to put him on the fourth line. I think that's not smart for his development. I think they need to move him up. Play with Marcus Foligno, good protector, right? But let's go. Actually, we'll go over some of the numbers. We'll go to their depth here. So, you can see Kaprizov, 1.12 over a point per game player, phenomenal, right? Hartman didn't do as well this year, but I mean, Matt Zuccarello did well, especially for his age at 36. So did well, right? Again, these guys are all right, not too bad, not too shabby. 60 points, 46 points. I like that. Almost playing full seasons. And it drops off pretty quickly after that. Third and fourth line. Again, that's not your expectation, right? You're building this team around Kaprizov, right? That's your nucleus right now, and then hopefully Boldy works out as well, right? And I think which is really exciting as well is you have Gustafsson here a little bit, and Fleury is a great mentor in this case. I think they may be able to flip him for picks if they wanted to, if he was willing to go. I don't know if he has a no trade clause or anything. But that would be cool too. I know they traded Foligno, previously. Again, I just don't know what they're trying to do. I like Brock Faber though. I think that was a good pickup in the LA deal. So Spurgeon did all right. I mean, the defense core wasn't really a points producer. I like Kalen Addison. I think he's an RFA right now. So let's see what happens with him, and hopefully they can sign him to a nice deal. And there's one prospect I'm really excited about. It is Jesper Wallstedt. And so I'm really excited about him to see him come up. I think he's playing in the AHL right now. I'm a Red Wings fan, and Jesper Wallstedt was projected to go in the first goalie in the first round in 2021 draft, and the Red Wings actually moved up a pick and then went and picked Sebastian Cossa instead of Jesper Wallstedt. So I'm like, Red Wings fans are freaking out because it's like, are they not going to pick? They picked Cossa instead. They could have picked Wallstedt. He knew he was Wallsted's is going to be, they're both going to, or Wallsted's for sure going to be an NHL goalie, for sure. But what I'm told is that the NHL or the Red Wings picked Cossa because his ceiling is higher, right? So there's a greater chance of bust because his style's a little more wild, but it's also that has a higher ceiling. He could be that he's a really athletic goalie. So I'd be really excited to see how he does that. So, but for me, again, I don't know what the Minnesota Wild are trying to do. I understand the buyouts make it tough, but to me, if you're going to buy out the guys like that and you're going to have these huge cap hits, tank, rebuild, right? But then you get this huge star like Kaprizov, and it's like, okay, now we got to keep him, so what do we do? So they're in that weird limbo. I think they should retool on the fly, to me, right? Get rid of some of the guys that are not going to stay here long term. And kind of just wait this out, right? But they're making the playoffs, and they fought well. So to me, I don't know what the direction is, man. I can't tell you the direction. They made the playoffs last year, and they weren't just a wild card, so they could make it again. And so I don't have a lot of confidence in the Minnesota Wild just because I don't know I have a hard time with direction, right? It's kind of like I like Buffalo's direction. I think I could see them being a playoff team because I like the direction. I like the way they're progressing. If it's not this year, it's next year. Boston, I don't know what you guys are doing. I think you're trying to hold on to something that you're probably going to be. Your prospect pool's not there. Your team's not there. You have a lot of good pieces, so do you want to give up now? And that's kind of where I am with the Wild. It's kind of in that Boston territory where you're not good enough to be a Stanley Cup contender. You're a playoff team, but not a Stanley Cup contender. So, in my opinion, you always should try and build towards a Stanley Cup contender, not just make the playoffs, right? To me, that's how Vancouver's done it. They just want to make the playoffs because there's money there, because the owner wants that. But to me, you need to try and be a Stanley Cup contender. So let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts, man. I appreciate it. Love you. Bye.